All right, now we're going to talk about factoring squares and cubes. Always remember, look for your GCF first, no matter what you're doing when you're factoring. All right, so for example 1, there's no GCF that I can take out of all three of these terms. So I'm going to put down my two sets of parentheses. I'm going to look at my sign. This sign is a plus, so that means that the signs in my parentheses will be the same. I'm going to look over here, and that tells me that they're both going to be positive. The only factors I have of x squared are x times x. Now, what can I multiply to get 9 that when I add, I get 6? 3 and 3. Well, because both of these are exactly the same, I can write it as 1 parentheses quantity squared. It's not simplified written like this. This is the simplified version. Example 2. Is there a GCF that I can take out? Nope, there is not one. So then I put my two sets of parentheses. I look at my signs. Both of them will be the same. This time they will both be negative. The only factors that I have of x squared are x and x. What can I multiply together to get 25 that when I add, I get 10? Negative 5 times negative 5. Because both of these parentheses are exactly the same, I rewrite it as 1 parentheses that is squared. Looking at this one, is there a GCF that I can take out? Nope. So I put down my two sets of parentheses. Looking at my signs, both signs will be the same. They'll both be plus. Only factors of x squared are x and x. What can I multiply to get 16 that when I add, I get 8? 4 and 4. Because they're the same, I can rewrite it as one quantity that is squared. Hopefully these are really easy. Now we're getting into where we have to look to see if there is a GCF that we can take out of everything. So if I look at those, there are a lot of 4s there. So I'm going to see, I can take 4 out of 4, I can take 4 out of 48, and I can take 4 out of 144. So my GCF is going to be 4. So I can take that out. When I write down what I have left, I have an x squared minus 12x plus 36. Now I try to factor this, always remembering to bring down my GCF. I'm going to put my two sets of parentheses. My signs will be the same, and they will both be negative. So I put those in my parentheses. The only factors of x squared are x and x. What can I multiply to get 36 that when I add, I get 12? 6 and 6. So I bring down my GCF one more time, and then I rewrite this as one quantity that is squared. Now we're going to look at factoring the difference of two perfect squares. Still remember your hint. Remember that your hint says you're always going to look for GCF first. Is there a GCF I can take out of that one? Nope. Notice that this is a minus sign. This is a perfect square. This is a perfect square. So I put down two sets of parentheses. One will be plus, one will be minus. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 25 is 5. And now it is factored. If this were a plus sign, you wouldn't be able to do it. So it always has to be the difference of two perfect squares. If we're looking at this one, this is the difference, perfect square, perfect square. So we have our two sets of parentheses. One's plus and one's minus, always. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 36 is 6. So you factored. Perfect square, two sets of parentheses, one plus, one minus. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of x squared is x. So I have a 5x in both of them. Square root of 81 is 9 and 9. So now it's factored. Forgot my sign here. That should be a minus sign there. Looking at trying to figure out if 625 is a perfect square, and it is, of 25, and 16 is a perfect square. So we're going to put down our two sets of parentheses. I'm going to have 1 plus and 1 minus. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of g to the 4th is g squared. 4g squared. Square root of 625 is 25 and 25. Now this one I can leave alone, so I'm just going to rewrite that one down here. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at my first one again. My first one, perfect square, so I can factor that into two sets of parentheses. I can't factor this one because it's a plus, but I can factor this one because it's a minus. So I'm going to have 1 plus and 1 minus. Square root of 4g squared is 2g, and the square root of 25 is 5. Now this is completely factored. We're going to factor the sum and difference of perfect cubes. While we're looking at this one, there's a hint here. Again, always make sure you look for your GCF first, but there's also a hint here. And the hint here is SOAP. And what that means is when you factor them, you're going to have one binomial and one trinomial. When you factor a perfect cube, you have a binomial, 2 terms in one parentheses, 3 terms a trinomial in the second parentheses. What SOAP stands for is that in the first parentheses, you're going to have the same sign as you had in your original problem. So in the first parentheses, the binomial, the sign is going to be the same, same as your trinomial. In the second parentheses, your first sign is going to be the opposite. So that's the O. So the second sign is going to be the opposite from what the original one was or from what's in the first parentheses. And then the last sign in your trinomial, always positive. Same sign, opposite sign, always positive. And it doesn't matter whether it's the sum of two perfect cubes or the difference of two perfect cubes. If you remember SOAP, then you shouldn't have any problems with working out your examples. All right, so if we're looking at this, 64 I know is a perfect cube, 27 I know is a perfect cube, so I'm going to put down my two sets of parentheses. One of them is going to be closer than the other. Same sign, so I'm going to put my plus, opposite sign, and then always positive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cube root of 64, which is 4, cube root of x cubed, which is x. I go back to my rule, okay, I took the cube root of all of those. Now I'm going to take this number, I'm going to square it, then I'm going to multiply what's in that first parentheses together, and then I'm going to square the second term. So if I look at this, what do I get when I square 4x? I get 16x squared. What's the cube root of 27? That's 3. So what I did here is I squared this one. I'm going to multiply these two together. That goes in the middle. So 4x times 3 gives me 12x. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 3 and I'm going to square that. Well, 3 squared is 9. So that's my answer. 4x plus 3 times the quantity 16x squared minus 12x plus 9. And I factored it. All right, next example. I know both of these are perfect cubes. So I'm going to have my two sets of parentheses. In my first parentheses, I'm going to keep the sign, so it's going to be minus. The cube root of 8x cubed is 2x. The cube root of 125 is what? What's the cube root of 125? So you need to make sure that you understand how to find cube roots and square roots. If not, you can go to your calculator, you can go to Desmos and put in the cube roots just to find it. If it would help you to make a list of perfect cubes, then go ahead and make your list on a separate piece of paper. All right, so the cube root of 125 is 5. My second parentheses, I take this first term and I square it. 2x times 2x gives me 4x squared. Opposite sign, so this one's going to become plus. I multiply what was in the first parentheses together, so 2x times 5 gives me 10x. Second sign in the second parentheses is always positive, and I square the 5. So 5 times 5 is 25, and that's factored. Let's try one more. First thing I'm looking at, I've got some large numbers here, so I'm going to see if I can find a GCF. And it just so happens I can take 2b squared out of both of these terms, and that leaves me with 8b to the third plus 343. And the reason I remembered to do my GCF is because neither one of these exponents was a perfect cube. So I knew I couldn't do anything that, so I fell back to my GCF. So I keep my GCF, 2b squared on the outside. Now these are perfect cubes. Cube root of 8 is 2. Cube root of b cubed is b. Keep the same sign. The cube root of 343 is 7. Next parentheses. I square this term, that gives me 4b squared. I do the opposite sign. I multiply these two together. 2b times 7 gives me 14b. Always positive, and then I square that last term, so that's 49. Now it's factored. So factoring's not as bad as you think. Good luck on it.